Under the vast expanse of the North Pacific Ocean, a group of dedicated researchers arrives to study the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and its devastating impact on marine life. The team is filming a documentary when suddenly their equipment picks up the signal of a shark they have been tracking for over a year. The signal grows stronger and moves closer at an alarming speed, prompting for divers to suit up and descend into the deep waters. After searching for a while, they come across the tragic sight of a baby whale carcass entangled in fishing nets. Shockingly, this is the second one they have discovered in only 3 weeks. When they take a closer look, they notice that the whale's stomach is filled with plastic, and there is a large bite mark on its body. Suddenly, a massive shark swims past one of the divers, Chris, but it does not attack. Chris quickly realizes that the shark is not the one they have been tracking, which means more sharks are nearby. His theory proves correct as several large sharks appear around them, circling nervously. Meanwhile, on the boat above, Chris's wife, Sophia, watches the live feed through the underwater cameras and notices something unusual. All of the sharks are female and extraordinarily large. Moments later, the shark they have been tracking finally appears. The team calls her Lilith, and they are stunned to see that she has grown to 7 meters long, even though 3 months ago she measured only 2.5. Chris grows uneasy and insists they should leave, believing the situation is too dangerous. However, Sophia urges him to take a blood sample, thinking it could be a groundbreaking discovery. Reluctantly, Chris tries to pierce Lilith's thick skin, but the action only enrages her, causing her to thrash and swim away violently. The divers decide it is time to return to the surface, but Lilith begins circling them rapidly. Suddenly, communication is lost. Sophia can only hear chaotic sounds through the headset as her husband and his team are attacked and killed. In desperation, she grabs a harpoon and jumps into the water, only to find Chris's severed arm floating before her. Overcome with horror, she searches the dark waters until Lilith reappears. At first, the shark seems calm, but suddenly she charges, forcing Sophia to fire the harpoon. Lilith retreats, but drags Sophia down with her as the net attached to her fin entangles Sophia's leg. As the pressure crushes her ears, Sophia manages to cut herself free and swim back to the surface, barely surviving the ordeal. 3 years later, in Paris, 2 young men are magnet fishing in the river when they unexpectedly pull up an old bombshell. The police soon arrive, along with members of the press. Officer Adele Otto explains that such discoveries are common since remnants of World War II often remain buried underwater, though they rarely pose any danger. Meanwhile, Sophia now works at an aquarium, trying to teach children about the importance of ocean conservation. However, the kids mock her, cruelly reminding her of how she lost her entire team during the shark expedition. Distressed and filled with guilt, Sophia leaves the aquarium, only to be approached by a woman named Mika, who brings up the subject of Lilith's tracker. Mika introduces Sophia to her environmental organization, SOS, a passionate group dedicated to protecting marine life. The team admires Sophia's past work and reveals that they have used her research to support their mission. Mika's girlfriend, Ben, a skilled hacker, shows Sophia Lilith's beacon on a computer screen. To Sophia's disbelief, the signal indicates that Lilith has been in the Paris River for the past 3 days. Shocked, Sophia insists it's impossible since sharks cannot survive in fresh water, but Ben explains that climate change and pollution may have altered Lilith's physiology. Mika believes Lilith is simply lost and wants to help her return to the sea. That same night, she plans to dive into the river to communicate with the shark. Coincidentally, there has been an accident near a bridge where a car plunged into the water, and the driver is missing. Mika asks Sophia to join her, but Sophia refuses, thinking it's absurd. At home, Sophia cannot stop thinking about Lilith. She reopens her old research files and watches footage of her late husband and their team. Overwhelmed with emotion, she activates the old tracker and confirms that Mika was telling the truth. Lilith's signal really is in the river. Later that night, Mika and Ben set sail on the river and approach the bridge. Mika dives in, but struggles to see through the polluted water. Eventually, she discovers the submerged car covered in bite marks. Above, Ben spots police lights and tugs the rope to signal Mika, but Mika ignores it and continues her investigation. Suddenly, she senses something large moving nearby, but her flashlight reveals nothing. Hearing sirens above, she decides to surface, only to be arrested by the police who think she is trespassing. On the police boat, Mika tries to explain that she was cleaning the river, but Officer Otto doesn't believe her. On the way to the station, they pass a homeless camp that the city plans to clear for an upcoming triathlon. Meanwhile, Sophia arrives at the bridge, but finds no one there. Her tracker still detects Lilith's signal nearby, leading her to the empty camp where only a frightened dog remains. The dog growls toward the water, unaware that Lilith's fin is gliding silently beneath the surface. The next morning, Mika is interrogated again. When she finally mentions the shark, Otto is skeptical until another officer reports a new emergency. A mangled body has been found by the river. Sophia joins them and confirms that the wounds are consistent with a shark attack. They bring the news to their superior, Chief Anel, but she refuses to believe a shark could survive in fresh water and demands solid proof. Otto and his team decide to dive for evidence, and Sophia goes along to guide them using the tracker. 3 divers go underwater and find a massive dead fish bearing enormous bite marks. Meanwhile, Mika follows the group from the shore, suspecting they plan to kill Lilith. She calls Ben and asks her to hack the tracker to disable it. Moments later, the beacon's signal disappears from Sophia's screen. Underwater, the divers sense movement around around them. The ropes suddenly tense, prompting Otto and Sophia to pull them up in panic. The terrified divers report seeing a gigantic shape moving in the dark. When they check the sonar, it confirms Lilith's presence. Otto accuses Sophia of sabotaging the beacon, and frustrated, Sophia storms off. Outside, she runs into Mika, and the two argue bitterly. Mika insists sharks only attack when provoked and blames Sophia for Chris's death. Hurt and angry, Sophia leaves. Later, at the police station, Otto suggests they block off the river to prevent more deaths, but that would mean canceling the upcoming Olympic triathlon. Chief Anel worries about political backlash. Otto searches Sophia online and learns about her tragic past, which reminds him of his own trauma from his time in the army when he lost comrades due to fear. Meanwhile, Mika posts a live stream revealing the existence of the shark, urging people to understand that Lilith's aggression is a result of climate change. Sophia sees the video and checks the beacon again, but it remains inactive. Soon after, Otto visits Sophia and apologizes for misjudging her. He asks her to join him in a meeting with the mayor. During the meeting, they explain how dangerous the situation is, but the mayor refuses to cancel the event, fearing bad publicity. Instead, she orders the police to eliminate the shark discreetly. Frustrated, Sophia proposes a plan to sedate Lilith and hand her over to the Oceanographic Institute. She explains that sedation gives only a few minutes before the shark suffocates, so they must act quickly. At that moment, Ben arrives and reveals that Lilith is hiding in the catacombs beneath the city near the sewage reservoirs. She admits she came without Mika, who believes Lilith can be guided out using sonar. Ben reactivates the tracker and shows them an old access tunnel connecting the river to the catacombs. Sophia and the police head there by boat, but must continue on foot through the narrow tunnel. Meanwhile, the activists, including Mika, are already there. Ignoring Ben's pleas, Mika dives in with her sonar device. The police arrive shortly after to clear the area, but Mika refuses to leave. Suddenly, a large fin appears in the water, followed by another. Everyone realizes Lilith has given birth. Mika, fascinated, reaches out to touch the baby shark despite Sophia's warnings. The fins vanish beneath the surface, and Sophia senses danger. Otto jumps into the water to rescue Mika, but Mika panics, bites his arm, and swims away. In the next instant, Lilith bursts from the water and devours Mika whole. Chaos erupts as a massive wave knocks people into the river. Lilith turns on her offspring and kills it, possibly detecting human scent on it. Panic spreads as Lilith attacks the fleeing crowd. Ben is pushed into the water and drowns while others are torn apart. Otto barely escapes, and the survivors retreat. Later, at the hospital, Sophia studies the dead baby shark and discovers disturbing mutations. It is adapted to fresh water and can reproduce through parthenogenesis, allowing offspring without fertilization. This means Lilith could create endless generations of clones. When Sophia and Otto meet the mayor again, she blames them for the 12 deaths and refuses to alert the public. Despite their pleas, she orders them to keep quiet and insists the triathlon will continue. On the day of the event, tourists crowd the riverbanks as swimmers dive into the water. Secretly, Sophia and Otto, joined by the bomb experts, dive into the catacombs to destroy Lilith's nest. They discover dozens of baby sharks swimming above them. One bomb expert is attacked, dropping the detonator, and another retrieves it, but is also eaten. Sophia activates a propeller to escape as the bomb explodes, killing the offspring. However, Lilith survives. She attacks the rescue boat, throwing everyone into the water. Sophia and Otto climb aboard the wreckage as Lilith begins slaughtering the triathlon swimmers. The river turns red while military forces open fire, but Lilith is too fast. Despite warnings that the river contains old bombs, stray bullets hit one, triggering a chain reaction of explosions that collapse bridges and unleash a massive flood. The water engulfs the streets, sweeping people away, including the mayor. In the chaos, Sophia rescues the injured Otto and pulls him onto a half-sunken building. When they look around, they see fins breaking the water's surface. Lilith and her offspring have spread through the flooded waterways, reaching other cities through connected rivers. As the world watches in horror, the sharks begin appearing across the globe, marking the beginning of a new apex predator born from humanity's own pollution and ignorance.